What is going on, guys? It's me, LiquidTruth, and we are back in Revachol. Things were finally heating up. We got our true detective looking outfit on. Let's see. Let's make it more official. I like this feature where the mouse is the flashlight. But before let's make sure Kim's not too high or something. Hey, Kim, come here. Let's peep your game. Make sure you're sober. Hey. But before we get too deep into things, I just want to say, the hell is that sound? Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help boost engagement. Let's see what we can find. So we're potentially looking for a spirit? Hallway is blocked by old window panes and debris. I love when things start picking up in the game and you're like, all right, I need to hurry up and get back to that. I want to play that immediately. A large demijohn full of strange liquid. Because that's the feeling I got from this. Wild animals stare at you in the dark, stuffed and mounted. We're going to do that so we can withstand any bullshit. I don't think there's an entrance there. What the hell? We'll do that in a minute. Airship rotors covered in spider webs. They remind you of blades. Looks like the remnants of the 24th window repair shop. Some money. Blue velvet, soft to the touch, moth-bitten. A naked mannequin torso, a strange yellow color. Ooh, some lore?
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
He sounds surprised and a bit cautious.
What he means is that these things cost money. Why would anyone just leave it behind?
Well, already I have to assume this has something to do with the truck driver or something to do with the drug trade. Because they needed some sort of like high grade equipment for communication.
This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream compatible printer.
Do you think I should turn it on?
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it.
Well, that doesn't help me. I'll just...
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open.
Let's look inside the compartment.
It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected.
This is where the memory should go.
The lieutenant notes, observing the machine. We'll leave it alone for now. On the off chance we find memory or something, I don't want to lock us out of an option to mess with it. How do we touch that? Wait. But where are the clothes it just used to display? Oh shit. Is this Emma's Altier? More money? All right. Doesn't look like we're going to find... Scribbled across a notebook. Developers of the most advanced RPG in the universe. What?
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Let's press play.
Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape in the player.
Try print.
Nothing happens.
Press play again.
Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape in the player.
So that's probably the memory that he was referring to. So what's this deal with this thing?
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board.
Inspect the drawings.
These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins with organs shining under their skin, and even ether welkins hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. You should adopt one of those welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a welkin.
I don't think so.
One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however.
I don't care.
Your eyes glide over 4 sections of the imposing green chalkboard.
What about the photos?
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried-up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much-needed respite from our own world. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe."
So this in the note over there makes me feel like this is some fantasy thing. What do the notes say?
The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: "Call in, tune out," "Wirral untethered," and "Heat death of the universe."
Well, we know from last time that Wirral is that fantasy, like Dungeons and Dragons adjacent series.
The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s.
Yeah. Inspect the schedule.
This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. Your eyes glide open.
So this seems unimportant. What the hell is that? Damn, dude, there's ways everywhere. What is this thing?
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic.
Hold on. How do I know what Kadran mosaic tiles are supposed to look like?
History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun.
And so what am I looking at?
Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic.
Radio frequencies for what?
Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced.
This must be... so we're dealing with something medical?
You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap.
Wait, who's the Game Master?
Someone very important. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency.
It's a game, then who's playing?
Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Ilmara. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became.
The cost of the airwaves, or airwidth alone, must have been huge.
Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
What else? Squinting at the lines.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
So now...
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace?
Did I click Kim or the table? Looks like an undercover counterintelligence program.
No, that's not it. I think...
The lieutenant takes a step back, steepling his hands.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like a puzzle box.
Hell yeah, lay that shit on me, Kim.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Has anyone ever done that before?
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Grad, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Not in Revachol West, among the ruins.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology.
And how do you think they were planning to do that?
Through call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio.
That's pretty dope. It's like we can do that on the internet now.
Then there's the Game Master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into sub-frequencies.
And this was a role-playing game?
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The
That's what I
world
was
like
thinking.
A modified version of the We World board game.
Oh,
with
you're right.
death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
So what do you think happened to the company?
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard.
Wow.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but...
The lieutenant tilts his head, thinking. They were insane if they thought they could do this.
Yes, especially in here.
The lieutenant looks around the derelict room. The pipes howl, and a rat crosses the floor in front of your eyes.
Okay, let's keep moving.
What the fuck? So many things. Money and magnesium.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red.
This looks like a refrigerator. Ice bear fridge.
The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy?
Crack open the door.
A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Relax, Kim. It's a fridge.
Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge.
Good point, good point. He relaxes his hand, his face bathed in the harsh light of the open fridge door.
Let's take a look inside.
Open the refrigerator.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
Examine one of the ice cream wrappers.
A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge.
Oh, well, already that... I was going to assume maybe it was the brand, but never mind.
The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Take the note from the door.
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door.
What's a giant bear-shaped fridge doing in an abandoned cellar in the first place?
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
The lieutenant reaches for one of the wrappers. He studies it in the light. So they tried to sell ice cream from this hyper carnivore?
I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The lieutenant points at the red snaky cable running from the fridge.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic.
Close the door. So let's check the note we got. A handwritten note you found in the giant ice bear fridge still bears some marks from the fruit-shaped kitchen magnets that were used to secure it to the refrigerator door.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
The lieutenant leads closer to the crumpled note over your shoulder.
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
Read the note.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe.
Ooh, I know where this is going. Illiterate ginger kid. That's Kuno, obviously. Offside copy. Are they hiding the tape somewhere?
You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Suliswaf.
Filament memory with the offside copy in a frozen ice cream maker. I wonder who wrote that note.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here.
Maybe they had to leave in a hurry.
That's a plausible hypothesis.
And so remind me again, what's a filament memory?
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of your disco tapes, only for a computer.
And so who's the illiterate ginger kid?
Really? You don't have a single guess?
He looks at you out of the corner of his mouth into her. Wait, the lieutenant looks at you, the corner of his mouth curved into a smug grin. You mean Kuno?
Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
Do you have any idea where the frozen ice cream maker could be?
I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge.
Let's keep looking. Ah! You've already checked. The wall collapsed. It's inaccessible now.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Let's look inside.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing?
The lieutenant asks when he sees you climb halfway inside the furnace. I'm not sure, Kim, but I think I can hear someone talking upstairs.
Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
Physical instrument medium. 10. Yell hello into the furnace. Before we do that, let's throw some of our physical instrument gear on. Make sure we don't have any of the negative stuff. Throw the t-shirt.
A thick layer of coal dust
58%.
covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Hello? Into the furnace.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
Do you hear a woman's voice answer? Hello? Are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
you hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
We did it. Put our normal gear on. Conceptualization. No. Logic. And then that. Damn, we're gonna finish up down here first, obviously. Nosafed and some money. What is this? An ice cream maker, defrosted and unplugged. The flashlight casts a strange shadow. There's a hidden doorway here. So wait, if this is an ice cream maker, there's nothing here to interact with. What? Did they lie? Damn, there's a whole little shack down here. A frozen ice cream maker that's still running.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
I'm scared if we turn the crank. Let's try to open the lid first.
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to open it with a regular pry bar. You're just wasting your time. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand, detective.
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in your inventory. From there, you can equip it to a held slot.
What the hell kind of hand-holding... What? We've done stuff before in this part of the game, guys. Leave me alone.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has
Damn, we're not going to be able to do
ice cream
that.
churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
Let's turn the crank first.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping.
Turn it again.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying.
So let's just try to
like
open it.
stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, the ice squeaks beneath the pry bar. You think you've got the bar jammed in there pretty well, but the lid simply won't budge.
I hope we don't hurt ourselves. What is this?
You see the pry bar's metal handle bending right before your very eyes.
Yeah, well, that's a good pry bar. I'm not criticizing it, but this ice cream maker is frozen shut. It takes an advanced tool to get it open.
Advanced? And where do we get one?
I have no idea, officer. This ice cream maker isn't important enough to requisition a special tool.
All right, smartass.
Sooner or later, you will stumble upon a tool mighty enough. Then we will know what's in this mysterious ice cream maker.
I like that attitude. He's right. We're right. So, those are stairs. What's this? The wall? Intercom wires running to the breaker box. Insane mesh tank top. +1 for drama. What does it look like? It's like we're at the club. Showing nipples. What's this?
2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
Oh, bitch, unplug the black one.
Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
It's black. It's not like it's the red one.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has 1 cable missing.
Shut the fuck up, Kim. Let me do my thing.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
We're gonna see if the crank does anything.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like
No.
stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping.
But we did get +2 for turning the machine off. But we're gonna need something stronger. So for now... What is this? A cellar window. People's feet shuffling by on the street. So we can't go any further. What's in here? 2 rusty rifles are hidden above the piping. They look inoperable. Someone has stuck some busted guns beneath the ceiling.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Shine light on the hidden compartment.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
I didn't notice we said, look, there's a hole in the wall. Okay, yeah, I'll look inside.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs, rummaging around. you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Rifles, Kim.
Are these any good?
Let's inspect them.
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others.
This one looks nice.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way.
Where are we?
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
What does this mean? A rifle here?
It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
A broken bell Margrave. From ages past. It's a 4-shot bolt-action military rifle with a wooden frame. Damn, I can't equip it. I was gonna show off. Let's check out where these stairs lead to real quick. Oh. Did we have the ability to always go in here? And we just didn't do it? Like we could have just snuck in without that woman's permission? Damn. So we checked this. We don't have the film. Want to check these little rooms out over here before we head upstairs. Skis with slipstream printed on the laminated top layer. Steel rotor blades bearing a slipstream logo. Production schedule filament memory. What? The cube-like crisscross of filaments feels oddly fragile in your hand. Its intricate structure covered in dust. Silver tape on the side reads production schedule. Note: this filament contains information that can be read using a radio computer.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Insert the production schedule.
Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking.
Press play.
A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule?
What? What's the production schedule? Wait, is this the woman we spoke with when we called earlier? Are you... What's the production schedule?
The filament you have inserted into the reader.
You mean the glowing thing I put inside?
Yes. Is that the production schedule?
Yes.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Password. Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
I don't know the password. Fuck.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
No.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Why did you call me Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any other information about this company?
One moment.
You hear her flip through a catalog before she reads out with studious care.
Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
So conceptual. She hums. And what's that? This interactive call-in radio game?
Any other questions?
The static drowns her response. You hear her ask when the connection finally improves. Are you a machine or are you alive? I mean, it's clearly a person.
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Okay, but where are you? How'd you know where I am?
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios. Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident.
That's all for now.
Thank you, and goodbye.
The old lady's voice disappears along with the static.
Tiles on the cube are still. The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Interesting. So we're going to triple check, make sure there's nothing else in here.
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize their business here.
I don't get it.
Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same slipstream logo. It seems likely that they started out making one, failed to turn a profit, and then pivoted to producing the other.
What a strange leap of imagination. Wait, but the question is, which did they start with and which did they pivot to?
That's a good question.
But that's just speculation. We don't know anything for sure.
Not quite. You do know that there's something unusual about this company's business model.
There doesn't seem to be anything else we can interact with over here. Let's triple check that we didn't miss anything. Nope. So now we'll go this way. Shoes in a puddle of melting snow. The floorboards creak. Postcard La Delta 51. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, is this the person on the curtains thing? What the fuck, dude? There was just a loud ass crash on my balcony. And I live on the second floor. What the fuck was that? If you hear me get killed in this video and somebody else uploads it, the tray is full of dice. Colorful polyhedral dice. Hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice. What do we have in here? Postcard La Delta.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with the emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Ooh. You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance?
She
You know
blinks.
what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Oh, she's such a kind lady.
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
We don't need dice. I'm not interested in buying dice right now. I'm a police officer and I need to ask you some questions.
Of course, I can see that. I just thought you were a police officer looking for dice. How else can I help you then?
No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
Let's go. She seems like such a sweet lady. So one, let's get some background lore. How'd you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
And do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
This lady rules. What the fuck, dude? I just heard something else bang on my balcony.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
How much does a die cost?
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Do you know the Revachol untethered setting? I want to die for that.
Ah, yes. Fortress Accident. It's too bad they never finished their game. The Wiro untethered die is a variation of a standard role-playing die. Only, instead of plants, it uses motives of ice and death. And loss, of course.
I hate that we still have the flashlight out.
Ice, death, loss. Sounds like you.
I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours.
Maybe I'll get a different one.
Maybe you have some other ideas for dice? Ah, yes. Fortress Accident.
I didn't mean to do that.
Ice.
I'm thinking maybe you have some other ideas for dice?
Tell me about your most extraordinary die. Actually, I don't even know what kind I want.
How about an amber die?
Amber? A poor man's gold?
Who told you amber was cheap? It's beautiful, really, and has been treasured since the ancient times. For 7 real, I'll craft you a 13-sided die from a piece of amber with a fossilized insect. It's perfect for those who can't seem to let go of their past.
Sounds like me.
I had a feeling.
She smiles, but says nothing more. It's a deal. I want to pay this lady. She rules.
Great. See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
All right, now that we've... What do we get? I'll pick up the dice. Nice. Now let's talk business. What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
And you never took your eyes off work to look out the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before her.
And so what do you mean by the daily ruckus?
I might
Oh shit,
have. It's
wrong one.
really hard.
This person values...
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
And do you often work on Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
I see. Well, thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
So where are we anyway? What is this place? Looking around the room.
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal black soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
The lieutenant looks around the room, its ceiling fading into the shadows above.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
So I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
So how do you explain what happened to all the companies?
It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail.
Well, Placence is the one who sent me. She's convinced that the place is swarming with malicious energy.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energy spared her somehow?
Actually, the bookstore isn't really doing that well. There's hardly any customers, and she's exploiting her own daughter to keep the company going.
Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Hold on, the whirling is part of the doomed commercial area?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project.
Well, the whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying their bills.
And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
Lasons thinks it's because you're the source of it. A malignant entity.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the malignant entity?
I still think it might be you that's causing this. Narrow eyes mysteriously. Absolutely not to this sweet lady. I'm starting to see that there's no curse, only business decisions and natural market fluctuations.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see.
Do you know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
What about the taxidermied bear in the cellar?
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
All right. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth.
Uh-oh.
And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back, disapproving.
Fritte does the same thing.
I know a girl like that. She works at Fritte as a cashier, and she's not particularly friendly.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revachol ICT. And they already had the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. It didn't work out?
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
The bear was scary. Every time I saw it, I felt scared. Like it could become alive any moment now.
The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
What the hell?
Sounds cool.
Oh, I totally understand.
I don't want to hear about bears anymore.
Anything else?
No, I don't want to know about stuffed animals. I want to hear about the person that we called. I found a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw 2 of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very
Nerd
seriously,
fight.
even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtain on a cigarette break.
They seem to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
From what I've seen, the project did look quite impressive.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic and to show up to work on time.
That's too bad. I would have supported them. The project looked great.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
She tosses a pair of dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of the metallic desk.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
Anything else?
I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
Here we go. A strange thing happened when I tried to call a company named Slipstream FCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years.
Damn, she hit us with the classic ghost line. That man's been dead for years.
Are you sure it was Slipstream SCA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
She said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics?
There's a moment before she recognizes the name.
It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress, or... Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
What? No. Actually, now I'm feeling the curse might be real. What the fuck? No, it was something else. Something eerie.
Pranks can be eerie.
She looks as if she's still convinced you have nothing to be worried about.
Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity.
Damn it. I saw a name, East Delta Pinball, on the doorbell.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice, don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
Finally, Kim has an opinion on something. So you're telling me the doorbell with the empty name card was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
So is the Whirling Rags part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the doomed commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
So I have some more questions about the building.
Sure, I'm listening.
So what happened with the hair salon?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad. It's not about the haircut, it's about the confidence.
Jesus Christ. I would never let anyone androgynous touch my hair, not even if my life depended on it. What? What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customer should have been more open-minded, although I'm not trying to experiment with my hairstyle. I'm open-minded, but like, not with my hair.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
And what happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club. A
Artemita.
community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
Wait. So that's what they have us recreating right now with that letter. What? And how did that community project work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
And the creepy mannequins?
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
I didn't know Insect had any rights. Or activists.
Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad someone took care of the little guys. I like insects.
Really? Anyway.
Alright, I have some other questions.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
What quest did we get? That's it. I'm not going to worry about passing the shivers check, because we're not going to pass that. Can we go this way? No, we have to go back downstairs. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything else here. So let's go talk to Placence. Merely looking at that unmanly haircut threatens your masculinity. What? What?
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
The dark sarcophagus. Pausing dramatically.
Yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
It was a charnel house of failed business enterprises, leeching life energy from this bookstore.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors that have been thrust upon us.
She shakes her head.
But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity?
Oh yeah. I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name's Neha, and she's a novelty dice maker.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
No, ma'am. I felt her aura. She's not the one to blame for this curse.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
She looks perplexed.
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Yeah, we'll just lie. The source is in the taxidermist shop. He became involved in acts darker than taxidermy and brought the void spirits down upon this place.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something wasn't right about that place. Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse?
Yes, I performed the ancient Seminese dispelling rites. This commercial area is doomed no more. Or... Yeah, I'm afraid I can only identify this source. But you have to call other experts to lift it. Or do we just say we did it all? Yeah, we did it all. We're perfect. Commercial area is doomed no more.
Of course. I trust my Seminese wards and charms kept you safe while you perform the ancient rites.
She looks at you with sudden admiration.
All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. It will be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course, but still. Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psycho-emanation to this humble bookstore, and that's no small achievement.
She so badly wants this to be over. She would have believed anything.
Oh my god.
All right then. All's well that ends well. Should we return to our ordinary lives?
All right. So we scammed the lady, finished that quest, and we got a skill point. We will put it in authority. Right now it's -1. But that's because we have some negative authority gear on. Yeah, the glasses. But we're not doing authority check stuff anyway. Because if we do, we will change our gear. So from here, let's go outside. We talked to your mom.
Hello again, sir. Are you interested in a new and exciting book this time?
She sways slowly on her feet. No. I want to talk to her. Where's the damn pretty girl? Can we look out the window yet? Is it too bright still?
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window.
It's not time. I wonder if we can do anything with this.
The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the... Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick...
Damn it. We're getting into this lady's room. We're gonna talk to her. Hey, let me in.
bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting, but it's yours.
Yeah, we're not going to sleep.
You see ahead, the door does not bite. The old cobalt.
Damn it. Open the door. I need in there.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh, yes, that door, sure. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably.
Wondering about it is, of course, exactly what he's been doing for 10 years.
Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He runs his fingers across the counter to check for dirt.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Let him just pretend he's indifferent.
He looks at the dust on his finger and wipes it off.
Yes.
All right, let's go see if we can bother the girl that works at Freet. Maybe she'll let us in. We can scare her with the pry bar in our hand. Like, hey, let me in. Freet. I want to go through there.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything. A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
Give me something to work with.
She looks up.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
She's not going to let us in. What I think we do instead, let's get that out of our hand. And let's come over here. We're going to check the game we bought out. Suzzeranity.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzzeranity. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
Remove the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
Open it up.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
Let's read the rulebook.
Welcome to Suzzeranity, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Goddamn.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
And how do you accumulate victory points?
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Let's read it.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzzeranity, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
And so how is the winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Let's examine the components.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Let's punch them out one by one.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ch as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
That's adorable. Let's check out the wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
The lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Put the components away.
You hold the open game box before you.
Well, you know what we're finna do. Hey, Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Convince Kim to play with you. +1 for intriguing components.
What?
Fuck.
Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
He is. We fucking lost the role. Who died and made you the fun police?
The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he doesn't appreciate your attitude.
Suggestion +1 for being persistent. What up, Kim?
What is
Let's
detective
go!
work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I already read the rules. I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachol. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza.
We're about to whoop his ass.
There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Alright, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Just do whatever Kim did. He drew a contract card. We'll let our workers rest for a while.
What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
What? Let them rest anyway. Fuck you. Okay, make them work a little, but not too. Well, I don't know. Let them rest. Fuck you. We're gonna lose.
There's no concept of rest in suzerainty. Workers have to work. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of
We're
his
gonna
sugar
lose.
and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Kim, can I do my first turn over? I think I messed up.
Come on, detective. Don't be a spoiled sport. You'll have plenty of chances to earn your own points.
Look at the first option. I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem. All right, we'll just glower.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin.
He wants to win so bad. Fuck you, Kim.
Come on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression.
Yeah, it's true. We need to get it together.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain.
I don't think this is an option in this game.
Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Focus on press workers in a service.
Using your powers of persuasion, you convince more workers to join your cause. After several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast army of expendable labor is at your command.
Gaze on your workers like a harsh but proud deity.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
The lieutenant turns one of the appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
Fuck. So you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond.
This is basically Victoria.
He moves aggressively onto the Safri territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots.
Yeah, this is definitely Victoria 3, the board game.
For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safri in the middle of the last century.
I'm busy.
You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Go for the contract? Does that mean we'll get... I want to get those extra tokens. Apricot Empire's burgeoning. Aristocrat gonna trade. Attack the lieutenant and steal all those resources?
You can't do that, detective.
Lieutenant says as you move all your pieces onto one of his territories. Fuck. So what can I do?
Well, I suppose you could try fulfilling some contracts, or you might try to relocate your workers. There are any number of strategies open to you.
Fuck.
It's true. Had you read the rules more carefully, this would have been abundantly clear.
All right. Rock and roll. Let's go for the contract.
It takes several turns, but you slowly begin accumulating the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side.
Stack the coins in neat little piles to annoy the lieutenant.
Despite your conspicuous display of wealth, the lieutenant still has a formidable store of coins and resources.
I'm petty, bitch. Let's go.
The end game is upon you. How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired for the glory of the suzerain? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revacholian victory column, worth 12 victory points. If you can successfully build it, victory would be all but assured. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy, or you could blow all that money on a public education system for your worker tokens. The choice is yours.
For almighty Revachol, victory column it is. We're playing safe.
Building the ultimate structure requires diligent economic planning, which you completely fail to do.
Oh no.
Rather than build a glorious monument to
Oh,
Revachol's
no.
economic superiority, you have to settle for a handful of post offices and school for the blind.
Oh no, we lost.
A risky gambit, detective. Sorry it didn't pay off.
This dumb game is rigged. Rigged, I say. No, we'll just say I should have gone with a more consistent strategy.
That might have helped, yes.
Fuck you, Kim.
Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score.
Fuck.
15 victory points. The suzerain will not be impressed.
No, what does he have?
I've got 26 points.
No! He says, a barely contained smile breaking out across his face.
Don't be glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
I'll go buy a Dungeons
You
and
hold
Dragons.
the open game box before you.
We'll play that shit right now if you don't watch your mouth, Kim. God damn it, Kim. You got lucky. We're gonna do it again and we're gonna win. Shit. Lucky bitch. Ooh, it's getting night. There's people here. Can we check now?
Behind the dock workers, a ceiling height window.
Not time.
The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers.
Mm-hmm. I think there's anything we can do in here then. But we're going to call it here because we're finally getting close to meeting that guy. Day 2's ended up taking quite a while, but I'm loving this game. This shit is fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help boost engagement. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.